Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel, and we've got over 400 audios for you to check out in a variety of topics. Please subscribe, like, comment. If there's something we can do for you, please comment below. We'll usually do that within a short span of time. In any event, today we're going to talk about abandonment issues. This is a buzzword in most of psychology, psychiatry, most mental health. What is an abandonment issue, and how does one know if they have one? How does one deal with it? What sort of coping is there? If you're interested, I do work with people that have been through this in my coaching practice. Obviously, I do not have the ability to do diagnostics. If you're looking for that, you want a psychologist, psychiatrist. But if you know that that's something you're dealing with and you want a unique, holistic, and multifaceted, change-orientated approach to it, we can certainly do that. You can get in touch with me through my website, which is available in the About Me section of this YouTube channel, or at PO Perception on Twitter. In any event, please feel free to reach out if you would like some degree of assistance. Now, an abandonment issue is an issue where a person has a series of beliefs that cause them to believe they are going to lose, be left behind, be abandoned, be forgotten, be unwanted, and it can start in childhood. Matter of fact, most times it does. It's a wound, emotional wound, usually that is perpetrated by one or more caregivers in a very young age for most people, sometimes as young as 6 or 7 years old, sometimes up through teenage years, depending on the circumstance. But usually, at least about 95% of the time, an abandonment wound begins in childhood and then fosters and manifests throughout life into teenage and early adulthood, and then for people that never deal with it, can manifest an entire lifetime over and over again. It's based in inconsistency and fear. So one of the hallmarks of a person that has developed an abandonment-related challenge is they are afraid of loss. They are afraid of, in some way, being abandoned, being left behind, being alone, being forgotten, being undervalued, and not being seen, almost being invisible. That fear develops in them, and it becomes instinctual. Many times, abandonment issues can also manifest as children who are afraid to be left by themselves or without a primary caregiver. When the caregiver leaves, there's severe separation anxiety to the point of the child having mental, emotional, or physical, or combination of all symptoms, and that can be a major issue. The separation issue is a first grade indicator. And so negative behavior to get attention becomes the next way that reaches out. Remember, most children don't have reasoning or deductive ability, so therefore they will engage in negative behavior in an effort to try to mitigate the damages of the loss of attention from the caregiver who they feel is about to abandon them. In other words, if you're giving me attention, if you're yelling at me, if you're striking me, if there's a physical abuse issue going on in an environment, obviously, then at least you're paying attention to me, and the attention is where the focus of the child is. Many times, if a child has been bullied and underheard or they feel as though the only way they can get attention is to be the bully. Bullying can be a symptom or a cause, depending on whether the child or young person is the target or the instigator of abandonment-related issues. Now, here's the ironic thing. A person with abandonment and separation challenges will often push people away, although claim they want close, meaningful relationships. This is because the fear of loss and the fear of rejection are equal. So the inability to trust that a relationship can end in a positive, mutually beneficial way is such at the center of the abandoned person's psychology, physiology, and unconscious mindset that they begin to play out that ability to kind of make that a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so this will manifest in a cycle where the person is constantly needy, constantly clingy, constantly seeking attention, and then they'll switch almost on a dime to becoming indifferent or quiet. And it's because there is, for a person with an abandonment issue, the development of a balanced approach to interpersonal relationships is extremely difficult. It's either all or nothing, very black and white, very either dismissive or all inclusive and almost smothering. Remember, these individuals fear the most is to be alone or to be um, kind of left behind or go through some sort of loss. And the ultimate fear motivation for them is the realization that everybody leaves. Now, this can be caused by abuse, this can be caused by mental and emotional neglect, this can be caused by trauma of a death and the person not coping well, this can be caused by absent parenthood. Now, here's where that's a catch-22. Absent parenthood can cause it, but abusive parenthood can cause it. So, if a person decides to be absent because, for example, they have a tendency towards being abusive or aggressive, it can do just as much damage as if the abuse or aggression was there from the psychological view of the abandonment issue core itself. So, there has to be a realization, and especially in a society that fosters people to take responsibility even if they're not ready, that it's a catch-22 situation if a person is incapable of being what they need to be for the sake of a young child or teenager, but at the same time their lack of presence provides a whole nother can of worms, metaphorically, for that young person. It can feel like there's no traction to be gained through the process. Remember, there's always recovery. There's multifaceted and multi-natured recovery plans. Some of them include meditation and mindfulness. Others of them include talk therapy and behavior modification. Still others incorporate the use of psychotropic drugs and or antidepressants to deal with kind of dulling the emotions around the abandonment issue. And a combination of all of these is often recommended as well. So finding your treatment plan is something you should be dedicated to doing if you have struggled with this in the past. Till next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.